Good morning. Welcome to Thursday Faith Livestream, where everyone in the studio has their volume up. Just kidding. Good morning, everyone. Let's see who all is watching. Are there any before that? You lost them? Good morning, Miss Donna, Miss Dawn, Mallory and Eden, Elder Barbara, Cheryl, Mary Rose, Sharon, Angela, Chris, Rosa. Good morning, everyone. Make sure you, if you're on Facebook, make sure you share it. Facebook, YouTube, make sure you like it. Those of you that have already commented, thank you. If you have not commented, just shout good morning. You don't have to shout, you can type. And then I can say hello. Hector, good morning, sir. Good morning, Clemmy. I don't know why is that you shouting? Is that why it's in all caps? Haley, good morning. So we've been talking about the results of revelation, and this kind of ties into that because this is a revelation, but ask Clemmy to give its own. Good morning, Victoria. Good morning, Floor. Its own title because it kind of stands alone as well. So we're going to talk about the power of the inner circle, and we can have some discussion about this, and we'll see if it takes two weeks or one. We'll see how deep we want to get into it. I have some stuff prepared, and some stuff I wanted to get a lot deeper into. So we'll kind of see what happens from there, and we'll go from there. Sound good? Cool. Thanks for being on board. So, two quotes that I've heard about your friends. There's the one that Pastor Allen always says, friends are like elevators. Some take you up, some take you down. Then there's also the one, if you look at your 6 closest friends, you're going to make about the same amount of money as those 6 people make. So the people you surround yourself with are very important. They'll either take you up, they'll take you down. They kind of take you where you're going. Why is that? Because they're your biggest influence. And they're your closest allies. So where y'all move together is where you all go. Does that make sense? It's almost like whenever you watch little kids play soccer, like 3 and 4 year olds, and instead of being spaced out and being in positions, they all kind of, wherever the ball is, they're all right there. And it's the same with your friends. Whatever company you keep, good morning, Dee Dee. Whatever company you keep is kind of where your trajectory of your life is going to go. So if your friends pull you up, guess what? You're going to keep moving up. If your friends pull you down, guess where you're going to keep going? Down. If your friends are motivated and driven, then guess who else is going to be motivated and driven? You. So you kind of want to pick who your inner circle is. So let's kind of talk about Jesus and the 12. We'll start there. I think that's a good place. Luke 6:12. Good morning, Tony. Good to see you. One day, soon afterwards, Jesus went up on a mountain to pray, and he prayed to God all night. So this is going to be good too, and we'll come back to that. At daybreak, he called together all of his disciples and chose 12 of them to be apostles, and here are their names. Simon, who was named Peter, Andrew, Peter's brother, James, John, Philip, Bartholomew, Matthew, Thomas, James, son of Alphaeus, Simon, who was called the Zealot, Judas, son of James, and Judas Iscariot, who betrayed him. So let's go here. I'm going to go to Luke 6. If I'm in the right place, that would help. And if you have questions about friends, questions about your inner circle, you can throw those in at any point, because we're just going to kind of take it easy today and relax. He prayed to the Lord before he picked his inner circle. Are you praying about who you're friends with? Are you praying for your friends? Are you praying for your friend group? Are you asking the Lord to give y'all wisdom, knowledge, understanding, and favor? Are y'all asking for those things? Are your friend groups praying for you? That's why it's important of who. It says, Chris says I froze. Maybe I was just reading, Chris. I'm sure I was just reading. But that's why it's important that you select who is in your friend group. Are you praying for them? Are they praying for you? Are y'all praying collectively? And I don't mean you don't have to have like inner circle prayer sessions. But whenever you need something or you're going through something, who do you call? Like, are you calling them saying, hey, I need y'all to pray for this? That's being part of an inner circle and knowing that they're actually going to pray. Because how many people say, oh, I'm praying for you, but never actually pray? Anyways. So out of the hundreds of people, probably thousands of people that Jesus was around, he picked 12. So that means you need to be selective. If Jesus had to be selective, then we should too. So then what's even more defining about this is we see multiple places Jesus really only had 3 people other than himself in his inner circle. Even inside the 12, he narrowed it down to a fourth of them. Matthew 17, 1 through 8. Matthew 17, 1 through 8. Good morning, Harold. 6 days later, Jesus took Peter and the 2 brothers, James and John, and led them up to a high mountain to be alone. Jesus chose to be alone with his inner circle. There are times you need to separate yourself from the larger group and just be with your inner circle. As the men watched, Jesus' appearance was transformed so that his face shone like the sun, and his clothes became as white as light. Suddenly Moses and Elijah appeared and began talking with him. Peter exclaimed, Lord, it is wonderful for us to be here. If you want, I'll make 3 shelters as memorials, one for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah. But even as he spoke, a bright cloud overshadowed them, and a voice from the cloud said, This is my dearly loved son, who brings me great joy. Listen to him. The disciples were terrified and fell face down on the ground. Then Jesus came over and touched them and said, Get up. He said, Don't be afraid. And when they looked up, Moses and Elijah were gone, and they only saw Jesus. So sometimes even people in your inner circle will say some crazy things. Just getting that out there. Matthew 26, 36. Matthew 26. Why, Hector? Do I look cold? He said I froze for a bit. I don't think it's cold in here. I think it feels good. Matthew 26, verse 36. Then Jesus came to them with a place called Gethsemane. And he said to the disciples, Sit here while I go and pray over there. And he took with him Peter and the 2 sons of Zebedee. He began to be sorrowful and deeply distressed, and he said to them, My soul is exceedingly sorrowful, even to death. Stay here and watch with me. He went a little further and fell on his face and prayed, saying, Oh, my Father, if it is possible, let this cup pass from me. Nevertheless, not as I will, but you will. Then he came to the disciples and found them sleeping, and saying to Peter, What? Could you not watch with me for 1 hour? Watch and pray, lest you enter in temptation. The spirit is indeed willing, but the flesh is weak. Again, a second time he went away and prayed, saying, Oh, my Father, if this cup cannot pass away from me unless I drink it, your will be done. And he came and found them asleep again, for their eyes were heavy. So he left them, went away again, and prayed the 3rd time, saying the same words. Then he came to his disciples and said to them, Are you still sleeping and resting? Behold, the hour is at hand, and the Son of Man is being betrayed into the hands of sinners. So what does this show us? That even your inner circle, the ones that aren't going to betray you, the ones you can trust, even they won't be as passionate about some of the things that you are. Right here you have Jesus asking his inner circle, hey, stay awake, pray with me, pray for me. And what did they do multiple times? They fell asleep. But even when choosing your inner circle, even though you can't expect, let's kind of get practical. Is it okay if we get practical for a little bit? If I'm choosing my inner circle, I don't want people that are just like me. I want people that bring a different perspective. I probably want one person in my inner circle that thinks like me. Then I want everyone else to think differently. They know how I think. I know how they think. But their strengths are different than my strengths. That way together, we're a lot stronger. But the danger in some of that, or maybe not the danger, but the compromise you get in some of that is they're not going to be as passionate about everything that you are. They may be passionate, but they may not be as passionate. So whenever you ask them to come, say you're a painter. I'm just throwing this out there. Say you're a painter and you're having an art show and you're super excited. Good morning, Javi. You're super excited about it. And you ask them to come, and they come, and they're excited for you. But they're not as excited as you are. Don't get upset. Like, have you ever talked to Pastor Jordan about a movie? He's super excited. And then he'll realize halfway through the conversation, like, you don't like that movie? Like, no, it's a good movie, Pastor Jordan. It's a good movie. But I haven't studied it out. I don't know all the background behind it. I'm not as passionate as Pastor Jordan is about that. It's the same way with me trying to explain something about soccer to him. Like, even though people are close to you, they may not be as passionate about everything that you are. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, even Jesus with his inner circle, they fell asleep multiple times. Good morning, Angie. Plus, I mean, I think a lot more, if we're being practical, I mean, a lot of this depends on what you want to achieve in life. But surrounding yourself, Pastor Allen told me one thing. He goes, a great leader isn't someone that knows all the answers, but he surrounds himself with people that do. So what you do as a leader, you don't have to know all the answers. No one person knows the answer to everything. But what they do is they surround themselves with people, especially whenever they're in a business setting or a ministry setting or a life setting, when they're trying to achieve things, they surround themselves with people that are strong in the areas they are weak in. So that right there is building a strong inner circle. And that kind of is the power of the inner circle. Your inner circle can carry you further than where you can get alone. I believe it was David Livingston that said, if you want to get there fast, go alone. If you want to do something great, you need numbers. So there's always that thing. If you want to get it done fast and you don't care how it's done, do it by yourself. But if you want to achieve something great, you need other people around you to do it. Let's read Luke 5, 1 through 11. This will maybe give us a little bit of insight as to why he picked Peter, James, and John. So it was, as the multitude pressed about him to hear the word of God, that he stood by the lake of Gennesaret and saw two boats standing by the lake, but one of the fishermen had gone from them and was washing their nets. Then he got into one of the boats, which was Simon's, and asked him to put out a little from the land. He sat down and taught the multitudes from the boat. When he had stopped speaking, he said to Simon, launch out into the deep and let down your nets for a catch. But Simon answered and said to him, Master, we have toiled all night and caught nothing. Nevertheless, at your word, I will let down the net. And when they had done this, they caught a great number of fish, and their net was breaking. So they signaled to their partners in the other boat to come and help. And when they came and filled both boats so that they began to sink, when Simon Peter saw it, he fell down at Jesus' knees, saying, Depart from me, for I am a sinful man, O Lord. For he and all who were with him were astonished at the catch of the fish which they had taken. And so also were James and John, the son of Zebedee, who were their partners with Simon. And Jesus said to Simon, Do not be afraid. From now on you will catch men. So when they had brought their boats to land, they forsook all and followed him. So right here, this could be part of the reason Jesus picked them as his inner circle. They were his first disciples, number one. They were the first ones to leave everything and follow him. Not only that, Peter, you see Peter here saying, even though we toiled all night, if you tell me to do it, I'll have your faith. I'll connect with your faith. I'll believe what you're saying, and I'll go out and fish again. And in that connection of faith, what do we see happen? 2 boatloads basically. The nets began to break and tear because of the amount of fish that they caught. So right there, you could see Jesus could have built his inner circle because he knew he could trust them because they trusted him. Trust in an inner circle is a big thing. How many of you have ever had friends? We'll do it this way because this is a lot easier to admit than the way I was originally going to do it. How many of you had friends or you've had a leader in your life that had someone that was really close? Like you had a friend that was really close, but you weren't close with that other friend. And you can discern when people, this is a big one.